The Handkerchief by Great 78. Chapter 75. Honesty. Dumbledore was standing, nearly leaning, against the ramparts of the castle, his face a stark white against the dark night sky. 2 brooms leaned against the crenellations. Hermione had said that Potter had gone with Dumbledore. Was he still up here, or had he snuck down in his cloak to join the battle? "Good evening, Draco," Dumbledore said politely. Draco stepped forward as though he'd been welcomed into the room. He looked around, building his occlumency walls as strongly as he could, with a pervading feeling of panic rising in his gut. He knew the cloak would hide Potter completely, but could Scarface fire a hex through it? Who else is here? "A question I might ask you," said Dumbledore. "Or are you acting alone?" Draco looked up at the sinister dark mark hovering in the sky above them, casting a pallid green glow on them both. He answered with a bravado he didn't feel. "No, I've got backup. There are Death Eaters here in your school tonight." "Well, well," said Dumbledore, and Draco could tell he sounded almost impressed in spite of the dire situation. "Very good, indeed. You found a way to let them in, did you?" "Yeah," said Draco. "Right under your nose, and you never realized." But there was a twinkle of knowledge in the old wizard's eyes. "Ingenious," he said. "Yet, forgive me, where are they now? You seem unsupported." Draco could not help turning his head to look down the spiral stairs, breaking his eye contact with the headmaster. "They met some of your guards. They're having a fight down below. They won't be long. I came on ahead. I've got a job to do." His voice cracked on this last statement, and he hitched in a large, gulping breath. "Well, then, you must get on and do it, my dear boy," Dumbledore told him. Draco's resolve crumpled a bit at this, and he knew then that somehow Dumbledore knew what this job must be, and also knew that he, Draco, was unprepared to do it. A tear slipped down Draco's face, and he slapped at it quickly. Dumbledore smiled at him then. Draco, you are not a killer." "How do you know?" Draco shot back, voice cracking again. Fresh tears fell hot down his cheeks again. "Get your shit together," he thought wildly. "You don't know what I'm capable of. You don't know what I've done." Images of Katie Bell smiling at him in ancient runes, of the glimpse he'd caught of Weasley through the doors of the hospital wing after he'd nearly been killed by poison, flashed upon his mind. "Oh yes, I do," Dumbledore said kindly. "You almost killed Katie Bell and Ronald Weasley. You have been trying, with increasing desperation, to kill me all year." Fuck. He'd known this whole time and hadn't said a word about it to Draco. Why? And if Potter was still up here, how had he not already attacked Draco? He must have slipped down the stairs, past him to join the battle. "Forgive me, Draco, but they have been feeble attempts. So feeble, to be honest, that I wonder whether your heart has really been in it." "It has been in it," Draco retorted angrily. It had to be in it, he thought. To not be focused on the mission meant pain and death for far too many people. "I've been working on it all year, and tonight—" There was a shout from the castle corridor below. Draco turned, fearing that Greyback had been unpetrified and was loose again. "Somebody is putting up a good fight," said Dumbledore. "But you were saying— Yes, you have managed to introduce Death Eaters into my school, which, I admit, I thought impossible. How did you do it?" Was that a growl? Fuck, why had he done this? Would Felix Felicis protect her from a fucking werewolf? "Perhaps you ought to get on with the job alone," Dumbledore proposed. "What if your backup has been thwarted by my guard? As you have perhaps realized, there are members of the Order of the Phoenix here tonight, too. And after all, you don't really need help. I have no wand at the moment. I cannot defend myself." Draco stared at Dumbledore. Why was he doing this? Saying these things? How did he know that Draco was unwilling to do this alone? He just stared at his headmaster. Tell me what to do, he thought. Hermione said to talk to you about it, and now we're talking. What can I do? "I see," said Dumbledore, in a quiet voice. "You are afraid to act until they join you." "I'm not afraid," Draco bit out hoarsely. "It's you who should be scared." Why wasn't the old man afraid? Did he not know what was happening downstairs? Draco thought, flashing back to the person trying to fight off Greyback earlier. "But why? I don't think you will kill me, Draco. Killing is not nearly as easy as the innocent believe." Dumbledore seemed to lean a bit more on the wall behind him. "So tell me, whilst we wait for your friends, how did you smuggle them in here? It seems to have taken you a long time to work out how to do it." Draco took several deep breaths, fighting off a panic attack. He lifted his wand with a shaking hand, trying to keep it pointed at Dumbledore's heart. I had to mend that broken vanishing cabinet that no one's used for years. The one Montague got lost in last year." "Ah!" Dumbledore made a pained sound, and closed his eyes briefly. "That was clever. There is a pair, I take it?" "In Borgin and Burke's. They make a kind of passage between them. Montague told me that when he was stuck in the Hogwarts one he was trapped in limbo, but sometimes he could hear what was going on at the school, and sometimes what was going on at the shop, as if the cabinet was travelling between them, but he couldn't make anyone hear him. In the end he managed to apparate out, even though he'd never passed his test. He nearly died doing it." Draco took another deep breath, fighting down the bile that rose without warning at the vision in his mind's eye of the dead, broken, legless Lopi. "Everyone thought it was a really good story, but I was the only one who realized what it meant. Even Borgin didn't know. I was the one who realized there could be a way into Hogwarts, through the cabinets, if I fixed the broken one." "Very good," said Dumbledore quietly. "So the Death Eaters were able to pass from Borgin and Burke's into the school to help you. A clever plan. A very clever plan. And as you say, right under my nose." Yeah, it was," Draco said. Dumbledore was right. It was clever. A bad idea. Dangerous for everyone he loved, perhaps, but clever. "But there were times, weren't there, when you were not sure you would succeed in mending the cabinet, and you resorted to crude and badly judged measures, such as sending me a cursed necklace that was bound to reach the wrong hands, poisoning mead that there was only the slightest chance I might drink. Yeah, well, you still didn't realize who was behind that stuff at the time, did you?" Draco answered bitterly. Dumbledore seemed to fall a bit further down the wall, and Draco fought the instinctual urge to assist him. "As a matter of fact, I did," said Dumbledore simply, staring into Draco's eyes. "I was sure it was you." Draco stared back, dumbfounded. "Why didn't you stop me, then?" he asked in hurt disbelief. "I tried, Draco. Professor Snape has been keeping watch over you, on my orders," Dumbledore said. "He hasn't been doing your orders. He promised my mother," Draco retorted, remembering Snape's words at Christmas. "Of course, that is what he would tell you, Draco, but—" "He's a double agent, you stupid old man! He isn't working for you. You just think he is," Draco spat out. Snape was no more a member of the Order of the Phoenix than Draco was. "We must agree to differ on that, Draco. It so happens that I trust Professor Snape." "Well, you're losing your grip, then." Draco ran a hand roughly through his platinum hair. "He's been offering me plenty of help, wanting all of the glory for himself." What a joke. As though being on the good side of the Dark Lord would bring anyone glory. "He wanted a bit of the action." "What are you doing? Did you do the necklace? That was stupid. It could have blown everything." Draco huffed a laugh, not amused in the slightest. Then he grew very quiet. "But I haven't told him what I've been doing in the Room of Requirement. He's going to wake up tomorrow, and it'll all be over. He won't be the Dark Lord's favourite any more. He'll be nothing compared to me. Nothing." That realization hit Draco hard, right in the chest. Tomorrow he'd be hated, feared, detested by friends and classmates and teachers. His name would be written in history books as the murderer of the greatest wizard to live. Nothing he could do, no words he could ever say to the witch he loved, could ever erase that. And Snape would melt into the background, trusted by both sides, but only serving one true master, himself. Draco saw now Snape's true allegiance. When the headmaster thought he had an ally, an inside man in the Death Eaters, Snape had played him. When Voldemort met with Snape in secret, hoping to get inside information about Hogwarts, Snape threw up his occlumency wall and tossed off the once powerful Legilimens with false promises and useless details. "Very gratifying," said Dumbledore, as though commenting on the weather. "We all like appreciation. For our own hard work, of course. But you must have had an accomplice, all the same. Someone in Hogsmeade. Someone who was able to slip Katie the— Dumbledore seemed tired now with the realization. "Of course. Rosmerta. How long has she been under the Imperious curse?" "Got there at last, have you?" Draco said, regret in his eyes. Dumbledore had known for some time. He could have ended this misery for everyone months ago, and had chosen not to. A scream from below shook him, and he turned back to the staircase, trying to recognize the voice. Had Slughorn told them how long Felix Felicis would last? How many people had used some? Was there still enough in the bottle when it reached Hermione to protect her? Dumbledore mused to himself about how Draco must have accomplished the other 2 attempts on his life using Rosmerta. But his next question drew Draco's attention back to the discussion at hand. "Tell me, how have you been communicating with Rosmerta? I thought we had all methods of communication in and out of the school monitored." "Enchanted coins," Draco said, though his mind was on the enchanted handkerchief and its owner, possibly trapped by Death Eaters down below. "I had one, and she had the other, and I could send her messages." "Isn't that the secret method of communication the group that called themselves Dumbledore's Army used last year?" asked Dumbledore. The headmaster looked more tired than ever now. "Yeah, I got the idea from them," Draco smirked. Whatever Dumbledore thought he knew, there was one thing about which he still didn't have any idea. Dumbledore did not know that he and Hermione had developed the concept together long before Dumbledore's Army. His breath hitched in his chest at this memory. He needed to say something to distance Hermione from him. If Dumbledore happened to kill him, rather than the other way around, Hermione needed to be free of the stigma of his existence, not tied to him as the Muggle-born girlfriend of a Death Eater. "I got the idea of poisoning the mead from the Mudblood. Granger, as well. I heard her talking in the library about Filch not recognizing potions." His stomach twisted into knots as he ground out the word mudblood, but he knew that he needed to separate Hermione from any association with himself in Dumbledore's mind. "Please, do not use that offensive word in front of me," Dumbledore responded quickly. Draco coughed out a harsh laugh. "You care about me saying mudblood when I'm about to kill you?" "Yes, I do," said Dumbledore. They locked eyes again, and Draco worried that the wise old wizard would see the truth. He girded his occlumency even more, stirring cauldrons and withdrawing pieces of memories with pipettes. "But as for being about to kill me, Draco, you have had several long minutes now. We are quite alone. I am more defenseless than you could have dreamed of finding me. And still, you have not acted." Draco fought against the lump in his throat. If Dumbledore knew that his job had been to kill him all year, then surely he knew that Draco could do no such thing. "Now, about tonight, I am a little puzzled about how it happened. You knew that I had left the school?" Draco looked away, once again worried that Dumbledore would see Hermione in his eyes. "But of course, Rosmerta saw me leaving. She tipped you off, using your ingenious coins, I'm sure." Draco looked up suddenly. "That's right. But she said you were just going for a drink. You'd be back." This had been a lie, Draco knew. Potter had been with him. Dumbledore, for all of his favoritism, would not take an underage wizard for a drink at a pub after curfew. "Well, I certainly did have a drink. And I came back, after a fashion," mumbled Dumbledore. "So, you decided to spring a trap for me." "We decided to put the dark mark over the tower, to get you to hurry up here to see who'd been killed," he said. "And it worked." Dumbledore had come running. "Well, yes and no," said Dumbledore. Their eyes met, and Draco could tell that the older wizard had known it to be a trap, but had stepped into it willingly. "Am I to take it, then, that nobody has been murdered?" The feebly stirring body under Greyback jumped to his mind, followed by the disturbing image of a lifeless Hermione. He pushed the thoughts away angrily. "Somebody's dead," he said, and his voice suddenly sounded high, tightly wound. "One of your people. I don't know who. It was dark. I stepped over the body. I was supposed to be waiting up here when you got back, only your Phoenix lot got in the way." "Yes, they do that," Dumbledore said conversationally. The banging and yelling from below seemed to be getting closer, as though a battle was raging just steps beneath them. "There is little time, one way or another, so let us discuss your options, Draco." The headmaster's strength seemed to be waning. "My options? I'm standing here with a wand. I'm about to kill you." Draco's voice cracked once again, and he stopped speaking abruptly. Dumbledore spoke again, but Draco was lost in his own thoughts. Almost as though he was speaking to himself, he said, "I haven't got any options." He was tired. So very tired of all of this. He looked up now. All walls of occlumency dropped. He reached into his mind and pulled forward a memory. "Look at this," he thought towards Dumbledore. Hermione's hair was spread across her shoulders, soft, dappled sunlight coming in the train car from the window next to them. She was fighting sleep, her long, tanned legs lying over his own pale, muscular ones. She was nearly asleep, but still a soft smile played across her beautiful, sun-kissed face. "Hermione." She'd asked. Her eyes moved in the direction of his voice, but she didn't open them. I love you," he whispered. Then Her lovely copper eyes were upon his. "What?" "I love you," he said again, more clearly. "Draco, she began. "No, you don't have to," he said over her words. "I love you too," she whispered to him, her smile growing wider. He exhaled a deep breath and nearly laughed in relief. They kissed with such tenderness and passion, Draco's heart ached just to remember it. Dumbledore's eyes met his and grew wide with realization. The old wizard could see everything now. This wasn't just about saving Draco's own skin, or even the lives of his parents and friends. "I've got to do it. He'll kill me. He'll kill my whole family." Dumbledore needed to understand. Voldemort owned him, and he had to protect everyone he loved from the man. "I appreciate the difficulty of your position," said Dumbledore. "Why else do you think I have not confronted you before now?" "Because I knew that you would have been murdered if Lord Voldemort realized that I suspected you. I did not dare speak to you of the mission with which I knew you had been entrusted, in case he used legitimacy against you." Now, as if dropped by an owl into his mind, there was another memory, this one not his own. It was Hermione, seated in what must be Dumbledore's office. "Headmaster, I need to tell you about something. Draco, Malfoy, I think he's been tasked with killing you. He can't tell me because of the vow that he made to Voldemort, but he needs your help. He doesn't want to do it, sir." "Has he told you this, Miss Granger?" "Yes, in not so many words." "Do not let this concern you, Miss Granger. I have been aware of this sinister plot for some time, and I have a plan in place. Rest assured, when the time comes I will be ready, and Draco will be safe." Dumbledore resumed speaking as though he had not just blown Draco's entire mind. "But now, at last, we can speak plainly to each other. No harm has been done. You have hurt nobody, though you are very lucky that your unintentional victims survived. I can help you, Draco."
Thank you for listening to this chapter of The Handkerchief by Great 78.